Прикольная игрушка, я вам скажу. Вот именно, она мне чем-то напоминает Portal, не в плане геймплея. Подожди, здесь вообще не был.
No, I restarted. I swear I definitely restarted the game over, completely fresh. Everything should be... Oh, did something change? Stanley, did you change anything when we were back in that room with all the monitors? Did you move the story somewhere or... Hold on. Why am I asking you? I'm the one who wrote the story. It was right here just a minute ago. I know for sure that it's here somewhere. Okay, then. It's an adventure. Come, Stanley. Let's find the story.
Сколько дверей. Ух, ну давайте заполним эту комнату. Я не знаю, пустят меня сюда еще раз. Для этого мне придется пойти все по тому же пути, да? Сначала пойти направо, потом спуститься вниз, увидеть кучу мониторов, он перезапустит игру. Мы опять попадем в эту комнату. И мне что, будет каждую дверь проверять? Беда. Дверь вроде не закрылась.
I'll say it. This is the worst adventure I've ever been on. I can promise you there definitely was a story here before. Do we need to restart the game again? Well, I find it unlikely that we'll ever progress by starting over and over again, but it's got to be better than this. Okay, let's give it a shot. Why not?
Он опять перезапустил игру.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Действительно чувствуешь себя марионеткой. Так, здесь опять ничего нет.
Okay, yep, it's worse. I might be remembering this wrong. It's possible the story is back where we just came from. Why don't we go back the other direction and see if we missed anything?
Давай попробуем. Что я могу пропустить?
Aha! I knew we'd miss something. The story. Here it comes. No, wait. Never mind. Not the story. Okay, let's head back the other way and retrace our steps.
Интересный вариантик я выбрал. Теперь буду по коридорчикам бродить долго, судя по всему.
Now this... Well, I'll be honest. I don't recognize this place at all. Is this the story? I don't think so. I can't quite recall, but I believe my story took place in an office building. Is that correct? Do you remember, Stanley? Well, do you know what? Since I've completely forgotten what we were supposed to be doing, how about this? You win! Congratulations! I know you put in a lot of hard work, and it really paid off, so good job. Oh, no, I don't feel right about this at all. We both know you didn't put in any actual work for that win. Some people win fair and square, and this was not one of those situations. Okay, I'm getting weirded out by whatever this place is. I don't care what might happen this time, I have to restart.
Очередной перезапуск, но я думаю, он опять не обнуленный будет. Так. Линия приключений
Stanley. I've got a solution. This time, to make sure we don't get lost, I've employed the help of the Stanley Parable adventure line. Just follow the line. How simple is that?
Так, здесь входа не было в прошлый раз. Ну, пошли. Посмотрим, к чему это приведет.
You see, the line knows where the story is. It's over in this direction. Onward, Stanley, to destiny. Though, here's a thought. Wouldn't wherever we end up be our destination, even if there's no story there? Or to put it another way, is the story of no destination still a story? Simply by the act of moving forward, are we implying a journey such that a destination is inevitably conjured into being via the very manifestation of the nature of life itself? Okay, Stanley, I need to follow this train of thought for a minute. Just stick with me. Now, we can both agree that the nature of existence is in fact a byproduct of one's subjective experience of that existence, right? Okay. Now, if my experience of your existence rests inside of your subjective experience of this office, Is this office, in fact, the skeleton of my own relative experiential mental subjective construct? Whoa. Hang on. That got a bit weird back there. Well, I'd like to apologize. Not sure where I was going with all that. You know what? I think what we need right now is a bit of music to lighten the mood.
Забавный вариант, который привел к овсяним последствиям. Мы уже, по-моему, играем дольше, чем в самом первом варианте, если следовать его указаниям. Давайте посмотрим, к чему это все приведет. Да, как минимум интересно. Так. Я просто смотрю, есть ли возможность куда-то пойти в другое место. Так, для общего развития на будущее. Возможно, варианты прохождения.
Cut the music, go back and look at that fern. Stanley, this fern will be very important later in the story. Make sure you study it closely and remember it carefully. You won't want to miss anything.
Просмотреть папоротник в мельчайших деталях. Ну ладно. Папоротник как папоротник. Так.
Wait, what? We're back at the office? No. Line, you do know we're looking for the Stanley Parable, right? The story? Is any of this ringing a bell?
Так, это мы откуда пришли? А, опять вернулись. Вообще нам туда по-хорошему. Ну ладно. Посмотрим, куда приведет линия. Интересно, какие опять сумасбродные мыслишки. Полез в голову рассказчика, он же все подряд собирает. Опять сюда же.
Oh, no, not again. Line, how could you have done this to us? And after we trusted you, after everything we've been through, you... Oh, I can't take this anymore. To hell with it. Restart.
Опять перезагрузка. Ты издеваешься над мной, дружище. Ну пошли.
You know what, Stanley? I say forget the adventure line. What's it ever done for us? We're intelligent people, right? Why can't we make up our own story? Something exciting, daring, mysterious. Ooh, this all sounds perfectly doable. Why don't we simply start wandering in, well, I don't know. How about this direction?
Так, он нам открывает двери, пошли.
Now, yes, this is exciting. Just me and Stanley forging a new path, a new story. Well, it could be anything. What do you want our story to be? Go wild. Use your imagination. Whatever it might be, Stanley, I'm ready for it.
Так, а теперь лабиринтики, да? И он говорит, выдумай историю сам.
Oh, no, not you again. Stanley, I'd also like to veto the line from having any role in our awesome new story. No lines or monitor rooms. Just don't acknowledge it, and we should be fine.
Что-то у него голос так погрустнел. Не нравится ему то, что все идет не по его плану. Пошли.
Ah, a choice. We get to make a decision. From here, the story is in our control. How important we mustn't squander the opportunity. In fact, I believe I need a minute to think here. Just walk in circles for a minute. Okay, so I know that each door has to lead somewhere, which means that somewhere at the place where we're trying to go, there must be a reverse door that leads here. And that in turn means that our destination corresponds with the counter-inverted reverse door's origin. So starting from the right, let us ask, will taking the right door lead us to where we're going? And since the answer is clearly yes, then by all accounts, the door on the right is the correct one. Another victory for logic. Come, Stanley, our destiny awaits.
Проходим. Так. Концовка конфуз.
Oh, hold up, what's this? The confusion ending. You're telling me that's what this is? It's all one giant ending? And we're supposed to restart the game, what, eight times? That's really how all this goes? It's all determined? So now, according to the schedule, I restart again. Then what? Am I just supposed to forget? Well, what if I don't want to forget? My mind goes blank simply because it's written here on this thing, wall. Well, who consulted me? Why don't I get to decide? Why don't I get a say in all of this? Is it really? No, it can't be. I don't want it to be. I don't want the game to keep restarting. I don't want to forget what's going on. I don't want to be trapped like this. I won't restart the game. I won't do it. I won't do it. I won't do it. And the timer stopped? Does that mean, did we do it? Did we break the cycle? The, whatever it is that made this schedule? How would we even know? Will someone come for us? Will something happen? So, okay. I guess now we just wait. You know, I suppose in some way that this is a kind of story. Wouldn't you agree? I'm not quite sure if we're in the destination or the journey, though they're always saying that life is about the journey and not the destination. So I hope that's where we are right now. We'll find out, won't we? Eventually. Well, in the meantime...
Это что сейчас было? Сбой программы? Ну пошли опять.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Так, ну получается, концовки правой двери мы все-таки посмотрели все.
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Давайте пойдем налево, и там была возможность посмотреть, нажать кнопку, во-первых, on сам в конце вместо off, а во-вторых, была возможность пойти по стрелке выход.
Yet there was not a single person here either.
Поэтому
Feeling a
проходим.
wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office.
Еще можно пойти
Coming
здесь
to a
вниз. Давайте так и
staircase,
сделаем.
Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Много вариантов развития событий. Постараюсь посмотреть все, которые примерно для себя понимаю.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all? None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming, he yelled. This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground. Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment, and my wife, and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay.
И?
Stanley began screaming. Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black. This is the story of a woman named Mariella. Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments, she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy. This much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day. The very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
Ну, вообще, я вам скажу, что если читать между строк, то можно очень многое понять и о многом задуматься. Так, сейчас на данном этапе я понимаю, что у нас есть еще как минимум два пути развития событий, которые мы не видели. Давайте направимся к ним, если ничего не произойдет. А учитывая, что он ничего не говорит, видимо, что-то произойдет. Потому что обычно он в этот момент начинал говорить одни и те же фразы, заученные.
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Так, первый путь, который мы еще хотим посмотреть, я хочу, это не доходя до того большой комнаты с коридорами, с мониторами, извините, пойти по стрелке выход. А потом, если там все закончится и нам дадут возможность снова добежать, мы посмотрим, что же будет, если нажать кнопку ON. И там, помните, были кнопки с цифрами. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Так, ладно, давайте сюда пойдем тогда, раз мы нашли этот проход. Что он нам даст? Это еще один путь, который я обнаружил, соответственно, у нас 3 пути не осмотрим. Давайте с этого и начнем. Потому что те я в памяти держу. Скажи мне что-нибудь, друг. мой голос в голове, а то без тебя как-то неспокойно. Не знаешь, правильно я делаю, неправильно. Но вообще, я вам скажу, что проект очень и очень прикольный. То есть я не припомню чего-то такого, чтобы настолько запутывало мысли и заставляло думать о том, что же сделать дальше. Хотя здесь все ходы за тебя заранее прописаны, у тебя есть только возможность выбора того или иного направления. Но в любом случае, игра подстегивает тебя на то, чтобы посмотреть все. Не хочется бросать, а хочется посмотреть все и узнать, что же будет, если пойти туда или в обратном. Я так понимаю, я в этом лифту теперь буду до скончания своих дней ехать. Давайте подождем. Песенку кто-то напевает, это автор по голосу. Кстати, голос автора очень знакомый. Понятное дело, что актеров озвучки в игровой индустрии не так много, но не так мало, но голос у него очень знакомый, особенно эти интонации, когда он кричал или там что-нибудь возмущается, очень знакомый голос. Если кто-то из вас узнал его, может сопоставить с какими-то другими игровыми проектами. Так, напишите, кто это. Так, я так понимаю, это ничего не дело, мы просто покатались в лифту. Ну ладно. Пошли тогда по этим путям, которые я обозначил.
Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. What could it mean? Stanley wondered aloud to nobody. He began wildly tearing through papers on the boss's desk, pulling books off the shelf, looking behind paintings, desperate for clues to his situation. But his attention was caught by a keypad behind the boss's desk. What could its purpose be? In fact, this keypad guarded the terrible secret that lay buried below his feet. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret. Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single minute to just let the narrator talk. That kind of anxiety isn't healthy, so he relaxed for a few moments with some calming New Age music.
Играет успокаивающий New Age. Здесь настолько просчитаны все возможные решения игрока, то есть, зная о том, что, допустим, я уже этот момент проходил и диалоги не слушаю.
Feeling soothed and rejuvenated, Stanley calmly walked forward into the opened passageway.
Так, отлично. Ладно, проходим. Как я уже не устану говорить, у нас осталось два возможных пути развития событий. Но это то, что я знаю. Я думаю, если там зависнуть с кнопкой on и цифрами, там, возможно, есть какие-то еще развития. Нелинейные, но... Пока мы посмотрим, что будет, если пойти по стрелке Escape. Вот именно сюда. Давайте сюда пойдем.
Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
Жестокая смерть? Ну ладно, пугай, не пугай, посмотреть-то надо, что там будет.
The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track.
Нет, мы еще посмотрим тот путь
At this
сначала.
point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
Идем к смерти, но идем уверенно. Умирать так с музыкой. Че, прыгаем, нет? Ну, давайте. Так.
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, he reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. So he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
Ой, до свидания, Стэнли.
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated, as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
Так, не понял. Теперь что? Можно пойти сюда, можно пойти сюда. Здесь тупик. Давайте посмотрим, что там. Там написано притча Стэнли.
And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish?
Не знаю, но посмотреть хочется.
When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
Тут музей имени Стэнли, что ли? Давайте смотреть, что здесь есть. Компьютеры. Тут титры. Направо, налево. Что еще здесь развилка, блин? Что мне потом опять заново все это смотреть? Я так понимаю, что это все-таки конец игры. И учитывая, что при других концовках мы не видели ни титр, ничего подобного, то это вполне что-то логично интересное. Ну, здесь какая-то переписка не особо интересная. Заканчивается вопросом, ты гей или нет. Телефон. Ну да, это музей всех вещей, которые мы могли бы встретить по мере прохождения всех концовок. Рычаги, я таких не видел. Значит, мы еще до них дойдем. Трейлеры, тизеры. Так, нужно куда-то дойти, чтобы игра-то началась заново. Так. Здесь я был, не был? Ну, как кнопку можно нажать? Видимо, нет. Тут очень много всего, и, блин, боюсь что-то пропустить. Хотя по факту я это все уже видел, да? Ну ладно, пошли, там была кнопка выход.
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be free. Can you see? Can you see how much they need one another? No, perhaps not. Sometimes these things cannot be seen. But listen to me. You can still save these two. You can stop the program before they both fail. Push escape and press quit. There's no other way to beat this game. As long as you move forward, you'll be walking someone else's path. Stop now and it'll be your only true choice. Whatever you do, choose it. Don't let time choose for you. Don't let time...
Они хотели, чтобы я вышел из игры? Вручную? Что-нибудь произойдет? Эй! Ку-ку! Я так понимаю, ничего не произойдет, да? Ну, видимо, да. Ха-ха. Ну, давайте начнем игру сначала, я что могу сказать. Так, ну все, у нас остался один единственный вариант.
Someone was following Stanley. He was sure of it. If he checked over his shoulder now, he would surely catch them. It was only a matter of time.
Так, это нифига не заново. Кто-то за мной еще и ходит, тут таких фраз не было раньше. Они меня вообще в ступор вводят всеми этими непонятными
Stanley came to a set of two open
ходами.
doors. He entered the door on his left.
Так, ну все, остался один вариант, нажать кнопку ON в самом
Yet there
конце.
was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. Okay, I think we all know the drill by now. Blah, blah, blah. Dark secrets, the keypad. Stanley pushes some buttons. Oh, hey, look, it's a new passageway. Quelle surprise.
Так все-таки они учитывают мои предыдущие прохождения. Я игру начал не заново. Так, а где значок-то? Наугад набираю, не вижу перекрестия. А, он уже открыл? Понятно. Все-таки, как бы ни казалось, что я начал игру заново, и там игра закончилась для меня непонятно. Это все предугадано, и все эти события тоже прописаны в сценарии. Но ребята явно постарались, и ребята явно нетривиального мышления.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control
Заходим сюда.
Facility. The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television
Бла-бла-бла,
screens.
уже знакомо.
What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
Тот самый балкончик, на который мы выходили несколько раз в других вариантах.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing. This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control?
Я хочу найти
all this
монитор
time?
Стэнли.
Was this the only reason he was happy with his
427.
boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly?
Так, давайте проходим.
No. He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable. Wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world?
Так,
Here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
ну а теперь самый на данный этап интересный момент на том факте, что это единственный возможный путь, который я знаю, то, что мы еще не делали. Поэтому давайте жмем.
Oh, Stanley, you didn't just activate the controls, did you? After they kept you enslaved all these years, you go and you try to take control of the machine for yourself? Is that what you wanted? Control? Oh, Stanley, I applaud your effort, I really do. But you need to understand, there's only so much that machine can do. You were supposed to let it go, turn the controls off, and leave. If you want to throw my story off track, you're going to have to do much better than that. I'm afraid you don't have nearly the power you think you do. For example, and I believe you'll find this pertinent, Stanley suddenly realized he had just initiated the network's emergency detonation system. In the event that this machine is activated without proper DNA identification, nuclear detonators are set to explode, eliminating the entire complex. How long until detonation then? Let's say 2 minutes. Ah, now this is making things a little more fun, isn't it, Stanley? It's your time to shine. You are the star. It's your story now. Shape it to your heart's desires. Oh, this is much better than what I had in mind. What a shame we have so little time left to enjoy it. Mere moments until the bomb goes off. But what precious moments each one of them is. More time to talk about you, about me, where we're going, what all this means. I barely know where to start. What's that? You'd like to know where your co-workers are? A moment of solace before you're obliterated? All right, I'm in a good mood. You're gonna die anyway. I'll tell you exactly what happened to them. I erased them. I turned off the machine. I set you free. Of course, that was merely in this instance of the story. Sometimes when I tell it, I simply let you sit there in your office forever, pushing buttons endlessly and then dying alone. Other times, I let the office sink into the ground, swallowing everyone inside, or I let it burn to a crisp. I have to say this, though, this version of events has been rather amusing. Watching you try to make sense of everything and take back the control wrested away from you, it's quite rich. I almost hate to see it go. But I'm sure whatever I come up with on the next go-around will be even better. My goodness, only 34 seconds left. But I'm enjoying this so much. You know what? To hell with it. I'm going to put some extra time on the clock. Why not? These are precious additional seconds, Stanley. Time doesn't grow on trees. Oh dear me, what's the matter, Stanley? Is it that you have no idea where you're going or what you're supposed to be doing right now? Or did you just assume when you saw that timer that something in this room was capable of turning it off? I mean, look at you. Running from button to button, screen to screen, clicking on every little thing in this room. These numbered buttons, no, these colored ones. Or maybe this big red button, or this door. Everything, anything, something here will save me. Why would you think that, Stanley? That this video game can be beaten? Won? Solved? Do you have any idea what your purpose in this place is? Stanley, you're in for quite a disappointment. But here's a spoiler for you. That timer isn't a catalyst to keep the action moving along. It's just seconds ticking away to your death. You're only still playing instead of watching a cutscene because I want to watch you for every moment that you're powerless. To see you made humble. This is not a challenge. It's a tragedy. You wanted to control this world, that's fine. But I'm going to destroy it first, so you can't. Take a look at the clock, Stanley. That's 30 seconds you have left to struggle. 30 seconds until a big boom and then nothing. No ending here, just you being blown to pieces. Will you cling desperately to your frail life, or will you let it go peacefully? Another choice. Make it count, or don't. It's all the same to me, all a part of the joke. And believe me, I will be laughing at every second of your inevitable life from the moment we fade in until the moment I say, happily ever up.
Так, мог ли я что-то предпринять? Он говорит, что нет. Мои соседи говорят, что им все равно, и они все равно будут сверлить. Но в любом случае, мы посмотрели всевозможные варианты развития. Я не знаю, можно ли эту игру пройти до конца, предпринять какие-то события, чтобы взрыва не произошло. Но мы посмотрели всевозможные, на первый взгляд, развитие событий. Я вам скажу, что мне понравилось. Игра очень необычная. Игра именно в хорошем смысле слова инди, да? Инди-проекты всегда отличаются очень нестандартным подходом к сюжету и к развитию каких-то геймплейных моментов. Мне, в принципе, не до конца понятно, что всем этим они хотели сказать, но то, что они заинтриговали, то, что они заставили меня тут около часа сидеть, нажимать кнопки и бегать от двери к двери с открытым ртом, это точно. Надеюсь, вам также понравилось. Если кто-то играл сам или знает, смотрел другие прохождения или, в принципе, в курсе дел, напишите в комментариях, что еще можно было здесь делать и возможно ли игру пройти какой-то хорошей концовкой. А на этом давайте прощаться. С вами был AnyBuddyPlay. Надеюсь, вам понравилось. Ставьте комментарии, подписывайтесь, ставьте лайки. Все, пока. Пока.